Hello everyone, my name is Colin Mercado and today I will show you how to use the root controller in this control rig motion builder. The control rig was created by Jhonatan Colin, so thanks to him for this amazing control rig setup using constraints and relation constraints. No C++ at all is needed for this to work. So let's start. I'm gonna show first use case scenario. So first I'm gonna bake this animation and I want you to imagine that this animation that we have now is a mockup. Normally in mockup animations the root doesn't have motion on it, so we need to kind of create the motion. So this control rig is kind of created with that mentality in mind. So let's delete the control rig, sorry, the motion of the root controller. So now the animation is like a mock-up animation where the control rig, the root control is always in the center, 0, 0, 0. So how can we bake it to follow the body? This rig, first, I want to explain something more important. If you notice here, if you do this of deleting the root motion in other rigs, what is going to happen is that the character width stay in place and doesn't move, because normally most of the rigs are set up that all of the controls are children of the root controller. But in this case, we can go to a hierarchy view and you will see that the root control is in the same level all of the AK controllers. You see here, and all of these red and blue ones are AK controllers. You see, all of them are in the same level. It means that all of these blue ones that are in workspace or reference space. Why? Because we cannot move the reference. The reference always gonna be in the center. So they are like acting like a workspace controller. So how can we get the information? This trick comes with this temporary root bake. If we enable it, what it's going to do is that the root gonna be following one or more controllers on the control rig that we can set up. If you enable it, you will see that the root jumps. This means because the reference pose that was stored in this constraints specific was in a different pose related to this controller that are controlling the root in this mode. So how can we fix that? Because it's important that these kind of animations start in 0, 0, 0 for the root controller. So how we do that? We can go to constraints, in don't touch constraints, yeah, in driven constraints and in root bake position. So this one is the one that controls the root in this mode. So you see in this moment the root is controlling by the hip and by the chest at the same time. So it's like a 50-50, the two of them. So what you can do is use disable this active and then use snap. That will be fixing the position of the root when you enable back this temporary root bake. You see, now it's 0 and now it's copying the animation. So now you can go use import here, full body and bake plot to the control rig, and voila, you can disable this and you're gonna have the root controller with the motion. And you can see it by going here in the root controller in FQs, you will see that you get motion data. So you want to polish it, for example in this case I will just simply remove my root controller animation from the X. So now it's totally straight. That is perfect in my case, because the idea is like it's a straight linear movement. So yes, this is the first case scenario. Another case scenario for the root controller is that in this particular setup you can do stuff like this. For example, imagine that you have a jump. Imagine like no, imagine this animation, the same animation that we get here, and we wanted that instead of starting in 0, finish in 0 for a reason. Maybe it's a stop animation, so they need to reach 0. So how can you fix that? Is really easy with this method. You can go here, first select all controllers in this group, all controllers. If you don't have that group for a reason, you can just find the mannequin control reference. I know that is this one is because the character is called Money and the source or the control rig is Money Control. So I know that this is the one. I go here and then say select branches. Then I just can disable this too, and this will be selecting exactly the same group. You see, it's pretty easy to do. Yeah, I just can again do it, and then do this, and yes, and then I will store this pose with all of the controls in here. Now I will go to my second layer, go to the last pose for the animation, select the control, root control, and I will put 0 here, key, and then just press this pose and it will move my animation back here. This actually, for example, if you say that your animation should be starting, say, in the top for a reason, it needs to be up here. You can just as thing, just move it here, and it will see. You see, if you press key, of course, it will be up here. But be careful that if you had this and you press the key, it will move everything to 0 ground. So just be careful if you had the G enabled, just to be sure. Okay, that essentially is what I wanted to show about this root controller functionality. It's pretty useful. Maybe another thing that I forget is, for example, you can make any of these controllers be in the root space controller and in a non-destructive way. And what is this way? So for example, I will go here and I will put the pelvis into non-IK by disabling this IK blends, and I will create an auxiliary effector. And this auxiliary effector, by pressing Alt left click, I will parent it to the root controller. Now I get this auxiliary effector being children of the controller. But if I wanted to have the motion of the hip, what I can do, I just can disable this back again, go here into my assets. I can use this tool called parent constraint and use it to break my original root controller animation to my new root controller animation just by enabling this back again in here temporarily for now. And be sure that the parent is this one and the children is this one. So it's in here. I just need to invert it like this, and then I just can parent plot. And then if I disable my root control again at the K and enable the other one, you will see now that I get the same animation, but it now is children of the root control. So yeah, this is an easy way to convert any control that you need, especially in that case, into root control if it's needed. Okay, finally I wanted to show something that I extend in this control rig, but this will be something that I will explain in another tutorial more in depth. So imagine I get this, I go to this melee combo, as you see in the melee combo we had that my hand reach and we use the weapon in 200 modes around here, you see. So I extend this control rig to use 200 mode. So essentially what I'm gonna do first, I will bake this animation, and this control I call it left hand IK right weapon space. That is the shortcut name that I put there. So if I go here right now, if I move the hand with the weapon, it will not move the left hand. And this one is green. But why it's not moving is because I have some multi-relation constraint and some setups that does that for me. So that is the reason. So you see right now the weapon is not in IK space. That is the reason because this one is not taking in consideration there. If I enable this, the will be considered IK, but it's not by this weapon. It's using the other IK that is this one around here, but it cannot be moved because it's not in workspace. But if I switch to right weapon space, I can use this one here that you see. Now it's controlling. So when this weapon move, that right AK move, and in that way I can work with the hand and the weapon space in two-handed. So basically that is this small setup that I did in here, extending a little the rig that I will explain in future videos. I hope this was helpful for you, useful, and if you had any question, feel free to reach me out and asking me. So see you later. Bye bye.